Good morning and welcome to the judges, teachers, and guests of participant of Thursdays 2023. Now, I'd like to introduce our judges today. The Chief Judges, Dr. Justina Yusof, Lecturer, Fakulti Ekonomi dan Sains Pengurusan UNISA. The second judge is Ms. Shahani Alia binti Sharizan from SM Sains Pokastuna. The third judge is Ms. Intan Isma binti Munir from Maktab Tentara Diraja. And I, Ilani Madeline Freddy from SM Sains Labuan, while timekeepers, Nur Syafika Syuhada binti Samani, and Ainul Mardia binti Muhammad Syarul Azmi from Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Mahmud, Terengganu. Now, allow me to read the rules. Each team should consist of presenters and a technical assistant. The presentation must focus on the sub-theme assigned to the team. The duration of the presentation should not be more than 10 minutes. The bell will rung once at 9th minute and twice at 10th minute. A question and answer session will be conducted after each presentation. Now, I'd like to invite the first team, SMS KUALA Selangor, to present.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning I wish to the wise judges, the precise timekeeper, the lovely moderator, and our wonderful audience members of the hall. I'm Akila.
I'm Saiful.
And I'm Maisara. And today, we from KUSES will be presenting our title, Influencer Domination, Frivolity over Stability. Our team was provided the sub-theme, the emergence of new careers in the gig economy sector, Boon or Bane, and our team has decided to focus more on the entertainment sector. So let's start with our definitions. Gig careers. Gig. The term gig comes from a time when musicians or artisans used to go around looking for a temporary income. Take, for example, performing at a certain event. In our modern day and age, we define gig careers as an occupation that lasts a specific period of time and provides a temporary income. Keyword here is temporary, ladies and gentlemen, because these careers are called gig careers since there's no long-term contract or permanence.
Now, when gig careers are mentioned, the first thing that must have come to mind is something that is familiar or something that is close, something you might even experience it every day. You might take examples such as Foodpanda, Uber, or Grab. But let me define entertainment for you. So entertainment is the very basis of delight or pleasure. So today's technological world has changed how we view and how we consume entertainment a lot. And right now, right here in this second, as I'm talking to you, is the most critical time for technological advancement in the entertainment sector. So why? Why do people adhere to these sectors? Why are there content creators? Why are there influencers? Well, this is because entertainers could gain possible significant financial rewards.
So, moving on to our objective, our first objective is to identify the impact magnitude that emerging the gig careers have on our students. Next, we are going to analyze the evolution of the stigma surrounding the modern entertainment industry. Last but not least, we are going to speculate the possible myriad of future careers that the youth will face.
Concerning our first objectives, we look to delve deeper into the reverberations, which is continuous and long effects of what soaring gig careers have on the students. Firstly, we want to study how it has changed their social lifestyle, how they connect and interact with each other. And secondly, we want to study how it has changed their perspective on what their future jobs might be. They might think, oh, this is an opportunity for me to jumpstart my future careers. So how do we study this? So we start at the very basic thing. We look at their exposure to media, their exposure to the internet. So what is their media consumption pattern is like?
So as you can see, we've provided screen time evidence from the year 2019 to 2023. In 2019, kids aged between 6 to 12 years old only spent about 3 hours on their screens. However, nowadays there is a drastic increase in that number, and kids, even from the age of 3 to 5 years old, spend almost 7 hours on their screens. What are we trying to prove here, ladies and gentlemen? Well, this is a phenomenon we from CUSES would like to call child imprinting. So listen to this. Take this for example. A chick hatches, and the first thing it sees, it will identify as its mother, right? So the same thing goes for children. The first thing that they're exposed to, that factor being the internet and social media nowadays due to their gadgets, they will consider that as what they're most familiar to. And so that leads to them having a different perspective on the online entertainment industry nowadays. But how can you prove this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've provided a survey to the students of CUSES. We asked them a question. If given the choice, which of these careers would you pursue if provided similar salaries? We're trying to give them the image of, if you could get paid, would you take this job? So the options were becoming a YouTuber, a TikToker, an Instagrammer, or others.
So now, our survey statistics has established that 85.5% of students chose a career inside the entertainment gig industry, while only 3 out of every 20 students prefer a career outside of entertainment. Well, to a greater extent, this just proves that kids nowadays rather have themselves on the internet as a YouTuber if given the same salary, rather than being a formally employed teacher or a doctor.
But to dive deeper, we compare the result between the Form 4 students, which is a 16-year-old student, and the Form 1 students, which is a 13-year-old student. This result presents that the Form 4 students have chosen others more than the Form 1 students. This proves that our generation, as the younger generation, is transitioning to become more and more accustomed to the importance of the gig industry and how lucrative the careers are. So that begs the question, just how much has our perspective changed on the entertainment industry that it makes us choose frivolity over stability? So, ladies and gentlemen, we provide to you the modern perspective versus the antiquated perspective on the entertainment industry. First, let me define antiquated for you. It means old-fashioned or out of date. So we interviewed individuals aged between 40 and 50 years old to obtain this information, and they told us that entertainment gig careers were not considered a crucial role in society back in the day. As musicians or actors, they weren't seen as important or played a huge part in their society. Further on, there was a preference of other lucrative careers. Take, for example, managerial positions, medicine, becoming a doctor. Students back in the day, take, for example, the teachers in this hall right now. I'm sure back in your day, students used to chase after these careers because they're known for their high-paying salaries and stability. In addition to that, entertainment gig careers were also considered unstable and had an unpredictable career path and future. With what limited evidence they had back in the day, how could they tell how successful a musician could be? How successful could an actor be? In fact, these careers were known for their instability and usually really low rate of success. But times have changed, ladies and gentlemen. So what do we, as the younger generation, the students of Malaysia, think when we hear entertainment gig careers? Well, based on our research, we have found out that the modern perspective is that these careers are one of the most profitable short-term careers in cyberspace. Take, for example, just by becoming a well-known YouTuber, a famous YouTuber, you can earn up to hundreds or millions. In addition to that, influencers, take for example TikTokers or Instagrammers, they gain worldwide recognition for their work and their content. This means that their influence could reach out to so many more people and they could gain even more revenue from that. Other than that, we also consider that entertainment gig careers are like pursuing a passion or receiving income, which is killing 2 birds with 1 stone, since not every job is as enjoyable as becoming an entertainer. So then the question rises, just what are the future career choices for the youth if this situation continues to grow? Well, ladies and gentlemen, our team has provided one crucial speculation. We predict that in the near future, there will occur an oversaturation in the entertainment gig sector. In fact, it has already started rushing to work in that sector as, a simple requirement job that does not require high credentials and it's easy to complete. So how much longer will it take before the entertainment sector is oversaturated with graduates wanting to become entertainers because they think it's a better option to receive income as quickly as possible? This will lead to the loss of credible scholars in our country because students will think that, oh, there's no need to pursue a higher education. There's no need to find these credentials because, oh, more fun, perhaps even more lucrative, high-paying jobs are available in the entertainment sector. This will also lead to the deficiency of the workforce in other sectors as well.
Our estimations of graduates prone to pursue influencer gig careers can be seen in the graph is that there's an increasing pattern over the years. Most notably is that in the next 2 years, there's an excessive increment from 50 million up to 100 to 200 million, which is almost 400% of its original value.
And so, we would like to conclude that number one, yes, there is a huge impact that influencers and the online entertainment industry have on us as students, how they affect the way we choose our future careers. Secondly, the stigma surrounding the entertainment industry has improved drastically since the younger generation now carry a brighter and more positive image of it, especially concerning how important online video consumption is nowadays. And third, our country will be facing a huge setback if this powerhouse continues its rise to global prestige and more students become prone to pursue entertainment gig careers instead of more socially secure careers.
And foresight and effort to influence the youth perspective on the prestigious careers is to expose them to the real working environment, whether it is in a predictable long-term career or in the gig industry. This will provide them a 360 degrees perspective on the pros and cons of each career for their solutions.
This is an action that can be taken by the government because this is what most students are lacking nowadays. They don't know enough about the pros and cons of each career. And so they end up choosing a career based on the bias of their society instead. It happened back then and it's happening now. So if the government takes this action to provide that information, students can choose a career based on their strengths instead of the bias of their society. And this will lead to them not regretting it later in life. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our presentation for today. As a sapling cannot grow without rain or shine, thank you for your patience and your time. We will now proceed with our Q&A session.
I would like to invite participants to ask questions.
Good morning. In regarding to your survey, you mentioned the difference between the Form 4 students and the Form 1 students. How are you sure it's because of generational difference and not a result of maturity? That's my question. Thank you. The choosing of one's most preferred career has less to do with maturity. And okay, so it really depends on what they're most exposed to. Consider that the Form 1 students, most of their secondary school life, most of their primary school life has been online. And so that's why it gets the most exposed to the situation. So we're taking also into consideration, because we don't look at the maturity, we're looking at the younger we get, what do we want to be? Because perhaps our generation, we could say that perhaps 15% want to become a doctor or a pilot or an engineer. I want to be an engineer. So there's little to do with maturity, but more to what were your childhood dreams, because those childhood dreams evolve into our adult decisions nowadays. Thank you very much for your question. Did that answer your question? Would the judges like to ask a question?
Right. Last night,
You have mentioned about speculations, right? So does your speculations is from the previous study, and can you elaborate? So what we have studied is a method which is more correlational. So we looked at the difference between the year perhaps pre-pandemic and after the pandemic, and how much that has affected the number of influencers in perhaps in the world, globally. So what we tried to predict in the next few years just how much more intense or drastic that increase would be, since technology is just going to continue to advance, and perhaps all of our interactions soon will be digitalized. And so that is why we speculate that there is going to be such an increase in that number. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, SMS KUALA Selangor, for the presentation. Now, I would like to invite the second team, SMS KUCHING, to present.
Sarawak content creators, here to stay or one hit wonder. A very good morning I bid to the honorable judges, trustworthy timekeepers, teachers, and my fellow audience. I'm Norbert.
And my name is Janet, along with our other two members, Patricia, the reporter, and Ricky, the technical assistant.
And we're representing our school, Sekolah Menengah Sains Kuching, under the sub-team of Emergence of New Careers in the Gig Economy sector, Boon or Bane. After much thinking, we have decided to focus on Sarawak. Because gig economy is so wide, we felt the closest to our heart is the fact that there are so many content creators rising in this gig economy sector. Most specifically, can Sarawak content creators compete with other content creators in Malaysia before we can even look at the world yet. So, we're curious to see how Sarawak content creators, locals, or anyone that has turned Sarawak as their own base, meaning that they could be foreigners, they could be from the peninsular, but have settled down in Sarawak for so long that most of their contents are based on Sarawak materials. So we find that is the most interesting thing to look at. That is why we have gone here. Are they here to stay and sustain with their career, or become one-hit wonder?
A single viral or popular piece may grant these content creators a momentary attention. However, it fails to establish a long-lasting connection that can cause them to decrease in popularity. Thus, the objective of our study is to find whether these content creators can attain sustainability by incorporating value-added content, and to find how content creators in Sarawak can last in the gig economy sector.
So we see the problem here is that content creators struggle to maintain long-term success and cannot engage with their audience for long periods of time. This inability is our concern.
Now, we have decided on qualitative methods where our research focus on these three main area analysis. Firstly, we handle this method by looking from the content creator's perspective itself. We wanted to find out how is it the content makes them relevant and makes them interesting. Secondly, the follower's perspective. Followers from any content creators that we have interviewed, or followers from any content creators that are well known in Malaysia, we would like to find out between all of these content creators what are the common threads that are tying them up. Lastly, our perspective. We would like to find out what are the success factors that affect these content creators last for the long period of time. So, this is how we handle our qualitative methods for the research. Next, we have reached out to many content creators in Sarawak. We even have tried to go for the bigger names, but lo and behold, we managed to get these 5 content creators who are willing to spend time with us via Google Meet. First on the list, we have Robert Gibbon, who is also known as Nick Jensen, who is a Dutchman that has settled down in Sarawak for almost 15 years, and most of his content is based on Sarawak cultures and lifestyles. He has 51.9 thousand subscribers on YouTube. Secondly, we have Cikgu Ahmed, who is originally from the peninsula and has settled down in Sarawak for almost 20 years, and most of his content is based on how to write for SPM essay writing paper, specifically for the Bahasa Melayu subject. And he has 178 followers on Facebook. Next, we have Cikgu Lo, who is a mathematics teacher, which lead to most of his content for educational purposes. And he has 54.9 thousand followers on YouTube. Next, we have Kayum Jawi, who is a student and who create TikTok videos to motivate the youngsters for educational purposes. And he has 54.9 thousand followers on TikTok. Last but not least, Kak Faizul. She is a businesswoman as well as a content creator who give beauty tips and guidance to those who wanted to start a business. She has 570,000 followers on TikTok. Moving on, from the interviews, we have concluded that these content creators experience an increase of their income, initially from 3, but now to consistently 4-figure by minimum income value. Other than that, we also have found that these content creators should establish a deeper connection with their audience in order to ensure they are relevant and interesting to guarantee their sustainability of their career for the long period of time.
We have also looked through the follower's perspective by distributing questionnaires to our friends, teachers, relatives, and our followers on social media for their opinions on content creators via Google Forms. These questionnaires were also distributed through our official Facebook and Instagram page. Now, moving on to the analysis from responses. First, I'll be presenting on the main attraction of content creator. First on the list is content type. So when content creators create diverse type of content, they cater to various audience preferences by making it engaging and enjoyable for them. Second, presentation style. So different people prefers different ways of consuming content. And these styles offer options for various tastes. For example, POV videos provides an immersive experience, while solo presentation offers a more personal connection with the content creator, and group discussions bring diverse perspective. Third is personality. So content creator with great personality can be relatable and authentic, which resonates with their audience. So when viewers can relate to the content creators, they feel a sense of connection and trust, which keep them engaged and coming back for more content. Now, turning our attention to the improvement suggestions by followers, first is add content variety. Adding content variety or diversifying the type of content they create can keep your audience engaged and interested. Content creators can introduce different types of topics, formats, or styles to offer a broader range of experiences to the audience. Second, improve videography quality. Improving videography quality refers to enhancing the overall visuals and technical aspects of the videos to make the videos to be more visually appealing, professional, and engaging. Third, better equipment. Having better equipment can lead to improved video and audio quality, smoother editing, and visually appealing visuals. This, in turn, provides a professional viewing experience to the audience, which is a key factor in retaining and attracting viewers. We have also analyzed content creators' top most viewed videos in Malaysia to find their common success factor. We have considered four main aspects, which are the number of views, number of likes, comments, and the length of the videos. Number of views and the number of likes to find out how many people are actually interested in the content presented by the content creators. Along with that, we've also looked through the comment section to find out what made the content to be so interesting to the viewers. We've also considered the length of the video as a key factor in our analysis. So, from the analysis that we have made, we've concluded that one thing these content creators have in common is having value-added content in their content creation.
Now, moving on to the recommendations, which are the content variety and content type, presentation style and videography quality, as well as personality and entertainment. For the first one, these content creators should deliver a meaningful, entertaining value in their content to offer a more unique perspective of their content to the audience. Next, these content creators should try out new different things in order to not focus on only one type of content. Last but not least, these content creators should stay informed and be aware of the current trends that are ongoing around them. Next, for the presentation style and videography quality, these content creators, their content has to be creative, organized, as well as visually appealing, and by using various formats and styles of delivering informations.
So content creators with great personality can be relatable and approachable to their audience in order to foster a sense of connection while also keeping them entertained at the same time. So, content creators aiming for long-term success should prioritize value-added content, reinforcing our conclusion that prioritizing value enhances longevity.
From the gist of what Khairul Amin said, the winner of the Best Content Creators TikTok Awards 2023, the content that is created should not be empty, mindless, or useless. However, it needs to have value. That's all from us. Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite participants to ask questions.
Your whole slide presentation is talking about how we're able to improve the gig sector itself. So my question here is, what are your solutions or proposal in response to the increased number of people within the gig sector itself, which indirectly affects the economy of a state?
Pardon me, I'm sorry, but we couldn't really hear your voice.
Okay, so that presentation is talking about how we are able to improve this, right? So the question is, what are your response or proposals for the increasing number of people within the sector itself with causes job instability and indirectly affect the economy of the state? So what are your solutions?
Our focus is on the Sarawak content creators, and as stated by the presenter, the gig economy is used as a side job. Therefore, we can also see that by making content, is it really affecting the influx of people coming into the content creating sector? Because
Still not. Can you simplify your question, please? We're not really understand. Sorry.
Alright, the increasing number of people within the gig sector
Yes.
causes job instability. Because some
Why?
people, a lot of people want to go to the gig sector, therefore other jobs are not being occupied. So my question here, what are your proposals?
yes, okay, thank you. So our research actually focuses on content creator as a side job, not as the main job of the specific person. Therefore, our research is doesn't affect the influx of people because we're still proposing them to take a main job, not content creating as their main job. Does that satisfy your question?
Thank you, SMS Kuching, for the presentation. Just wait for their Now, I would like to invite the third team, SMS Sultan Muhammad JIWA, to present.
Has anyone in this room ever used a food delivery app before? If you do so, please raise up your hands. I see quite a handful of you in this room. Well, did you guys know that you guys are participating in the gig economy by doing that? Well, we engage in the gig economy, but more often than not, we do so from the standpoint of the users. Have you guys ever wondered the opportunities or the benefits it gives to the people in this nation? With that in mind, I begin my speech with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening and a very good morning to the honorable judges, loyal timekeepers, beloved friends, and also beloved teachers. I, Ardenizera Gifli, and
I am Emergence.
will be the presenters from Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Muhammad JIWA. Today, looking at our title, we will be exploring the career opportunities in the delivery services. Food delivery is a branch of the gig economy. We have 5 food delivery sectors and applications available in Malaysia. And I'm sure you guys must have known GrabFood and Food Panda. We also have the unknown ones such as Beep, Home Taste, and also Air Asia Food. Talking about gig economy, what is gig economy exactly? Labor markets that are characterized by independent contracting that happens through, via, and on digital platforms. And I'm sure that you guys might have known someone in your relatives or even your neighborhood that works as a food delivery rider. The kind of work that is offered, okay. Moving on, we know the rise of the gig economy. There are 26% of Malaysia's labor force work as a full-time gig workers, which is equivalent to 4 million freelancers. And since 2010, the number of self-employed in urban areas has increased to 81%, equivalent to 765,000 people, and even more when the pandemic hits. Now moving on to what is the meaning of the food delivery. Food delivery is a career service in which stores, restaurants, or third-party applications delivers food to consumers on demand. These days, orders are executed through mobile apps, websites, or via telephone. Now, let's take a look on our research that we have done. The problem statement for our research is the scarcity of job opportunities in the current scenario has led to a significant proportion of the workforce being constrained to working as a delivery personnel for the food and beverage sector. This means that due to job situation, people are forced or opted to work as a delivery rider to keep up with the daily expenses. Now, the objectives of our research is to explore the impact of job market competition in Malaysia on those who have chosen the delivery services industry as a long-term profession, focusing on job satisfactions, motivations, and also challenges. Now, let's take a look at some riders that we've interviewed around Surabaya. Okay, now let's moving on. Out of the 7 people that we've interviewed, one of them is an SCPM leaver, and another one of them is a diploma leaver. While another 2 of them is an SPM certificate holder, and 3 of them is a degree certificate holder. Moving on to their satisfactions. Unfortunately, 2 of them gave unfavorable feedback, and majority of them are happy with the job. This is a very good news for us. Now, moving on to their proportion of how many people are works as a full-time or part-time. Three of the 7 people that we've interviewed works as a full-timers. We were 4 of the people that we've interviewed works as a part-timer. Now let's move on to the challenges. One of the 7 interviewers that we interviewed said that busy traffic was the main challenges. Meanwhile, another one said that road accident was their big challenge, and 2 of them may have encountered with rude customers before, and which ruins their mood for the whole day. And another 3 of them said that unpredictable weather was a major challenge because sometimes it rains and sometimes it shines.
Next, the benefits of the gig economy. So, gig economy has offered a lot of benefits not only to the riders but also to the customers and vendors alike. So first, gig economy could create a permanent job opportunities. Going back to our problem statement, people that struggles to find a job chose gig economy as their long-term profession. Next, keeping traditional restaurants alive. So what did we mean by this? So traditional restaurants compete with fast food branches. So by using delivery apps, it helps them to take more orders. Next, it offers visibility to underrated restaurants. And last but not least, it is convenience to customers. You don't have time to go out. Wouldn't it be nice to have meals delivered straight to your door? Next, the solution. What can the higher ups and the government do to ensure the welfare of the delivery riders? First, we can provide medical coverage for the delivery riders. Second, government initiatives such as self-employment social scheme, e-Salaan, iRezeki, and e-Usahawan. And then the government can initiate a proper HR management in the companies. And last but not least, to enforce road rules to ensure the rider's safety on the roads. But ladies and gentlemen, we should also play the role by reminding riders to not break the traffic rules as it could avoid accidents. Approaching to the end of our presentation, I'm here to conclude our research. So the rise of gig economy, specifically food delivery services, has given job opportunities to people who struggle to find a job, as it is easy to be employed in this job sector. Despite the challenges and the risks, people still choose this as a long-term profession. To reduce the risk, the intervention of government is needed to protect the welfare of food delivery riders. In the end, we can conclude that the emergence of new careers in the gig economy sector is a boon. That's all from us. Thank you. Now, I would like to invite participants to ask questions. So my question is, as we all know that currently Grab is one of the company that having a big loss in their profit 2 years, and even research showed that they are having lost 2 years by year until now. So can you elaborate more on that? How do you outcomes it is problem? So as we all know that Grab is a company that Grab is a company that have lost their profit years by years, even until now. So can you elaborate on that? Correlate with your saying that you want to actually search on the food delivery. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So we have another application such as Food Panda and more. We don't have only Grab Food specifically. So we have another company to help us back up the Grab Food in case the Grab Food has any problems or something. So we have another backup plan.
Thank you, SMS Sultan Muhammad Jiwa, for the presentation. Now, we will allow some 3 minutes for the judges to read the abstract for the next team and complete the adjudication. I saw you guys wearing the shirt with the design of like MMXX think I was thinking yeah, it is so nice. Yeah. I just get to, I actually thought of becoming a psychologist before, but like I'm scared. Me too. You're a psychologist, you're teaching. Very nice. Yeah. That's more scary. Yes, I'm right. It's actually the same because in that one they always have like all the prices. Because in that one we don't have any reverse. Just yeah. That one is literally just an island. And it's very small. Yeah. guys are trying to adapt. Even outside school. Yeah. SMS kepala batas. It's actually the first time me hearing this. This is my first time hearing this. Yeah, I'm actually from new culture. You guys have that? Like for all you guys take new people. So any new faces?
Yeah, we actually
And so how are they? Okay. Only one girl? Oh yeah. I noticed that you guys have more boys than girls. Yeah. In our school there's more girls than boys. Yeah. Only 16? 16. Oh, 16. Now, I would like to invite the fourth team, SMS Kepala Batas, to present. One, two, start.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that? You have usually heard that sound when your phone batteries are dying. Am I right? But what if I told you the sound of batteries dying are equivalent to how the graphic design industry is critical in the gig economy sector? But before we dive into it,
Assalamualaikum and a marvelous day I bid to the honorable judges,
why is that?
brilliant moderator,
And the
and members of the floor. My name is Fazil Fahani.
and my name is Marsara, and the other members are Harit Hakmi and Zain Zulfi.
We are from South Batas Pulau Pinang, who will be opening a perspective on our studies under the scope of emergence of new career in the gig economy sector, Boon or Bane, entitled Creative Catalyst Pioneering Prosperity Through Graphic Artistry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to start off, what is gig economy? Gig economy is a labor market that lives heavily on temporary and part-time positions that are filled by independent contractors and freelancers rather than full-time permanent employees.
Members of the floor.
Under the gig economy, we have chose to scope the graphic artistry, which is a creative industry who creates visual content. But our focus here is on the graphic design. A graphic designer is a professional that requires skills such as typography, images, illustrations, and layout to visually communicate their ideas and messages. Now, the main reason that we choose graphic designer is because it is the second most demanded job in Malaysia. As you can see here, statistics have shown that graphic designer is second behind project management. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why graphic designer is more demanded than any other job in GI industry? Well, there are four main factors of it, which is first, we use it in nearly everything. It is close to 80% of business requires using editing. Other than that, with the digital transformation, where the world has changed on the way we live and work, everything nowadays are using technology. Even the gadgets that we are using now are using technology. Next, with the creative thinking, which is an ability to think and create more fresh and creative ideas. And lastly, with increasing competition, where this requires skilled graphic designer to make a content that will stood out in the sea of information alongside with the rise of digital marketing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, even though graphic designers are one of the most demanded jobs in Malaysia, as said as Fazlin, there are several issues on it. If you ought to be working as a graphic designer in Malaysia, the market will tend to devalue the importance of what a good graphic designer is. And what I meant by this is that the minimum increment that you can probably get is only 3%. Aside from that, the companies that are hiring you may not fully understand the expertise and skills that a professional graphic designer possesses, which may lead to poor working conditions. There's also a tendency that graphic designers would work overtime without getting the extra pay. Ladies and gentlemen, this has shown that the misconception of our society towards graphic design industry has led to its undervaluation and even making it as one of the gig economy.
That is why, ladies and gentlemen, our research is to discover how misunderstandings to a graphic designer affect graphic designer as the new career in the gig economy. Other than that, we also want to recognize how underappreciated of design could affect the industry. And lastly, we will provide you a possible solution for all the problems.
Moving on, I'm going to explain you the two methodologies that we utilize throughout this research. But the first one is the umbrella review. In brief, an umbrella review is an overview of all the systematic reviews that we did. As for the second one, we conducted an interview with a few graphic designers that consist of freelancers and agency-based to get a perspective and overview on the graphic design industry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play you a short audio of an interview that we did with Mr. Uwais Hazril, who worked as a junior graphic designer with 2 years of working experience.
Evolving ikut teknologi, which is good. Tapi ada beberapa masalah. Contohnya ada golongan-golongan profesional penat-penat belajar pakai Photoshop, which is good lah to professional software. Tapi tiba-tiba ada teknologi baru, which is Canva, alternatif untuk Photoshop. Benda tu bagus, diorang pun pakai Canva. Tapi at some point freelancer, ramai orang yang akses dia lebih tinggi. So kerja graphic design ni dah semakin kurang dihargai.
As you heard, Mr. Uwais Hazril has clearly explained his concern on the rapidly changing technology that is increasing the quality of work of the graphic designers. Mr. Uwais Hazril has also proven our findings of the emergence of graphic design in the gig economy to be true. For more elaboration on this, I will pass this to Fazli.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to the first point that I would love you to deliberate is rapidly changing technology, where those professionals, they are used with the current software and already master every key element in it. But because of this factor, you need to move on and master new software, which will only decrease their skill and quality in graphic designing. Other than that, when certain application to online users that are using new templates will only break their knowledge and mastery in certain software or website. In short, their quality of design will be misconfigured since they need to adapt with this new technology. Just like what Mr. Wise had stated just now, their quality of design will be decreased and it will lead to underappreciated. And when underappreciated happen, it will lead to much more bigger problem. Now moving to the second point, which is underappreciated of design. Underappreciated of design usually happen when clients don't understand the amount of time and complexity into making a good design. They may not provide a clear and concise brief that will lead to misunderstandings, and these misunderstandings will only lead to missed opportunities for graphic designers. In return, these graphic designers have to experience low salary and low payment. As you can see in the bar chart here, it shows that graphic designer receive 4,070 Malaysian ringgit as their monthly average salary, compared to all jobs that receive 6,610 Malaysian ringgit as their average salary. Now, ladies and gentlemen, other than they have to experience a low salary, these graphic designers, they also have to overwork without receive any bonus. You can see here, the amount of worker that didn't receive bonus are higher than the amount of worker that receive bonus. Now, for more clear review, we have provided a comparison where senior graphic designer receive 5,830 Malaysian ringgit as their monthly average salary, as their monthly basic salary, compared to senior interior designer receive 11,850 Malaysian ringgit as their monthly base salary. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's the problem. Both of these jobs are still in the same field. But why? Why graphic designer only receive lower than interior designer? Now, I'm going to pass this back to Sarah.
Yes, Fazli. That is why members of the floor, in order to bring back graphic design industry into the stable economy, have a few recommendations that we hope to see in our society in the future. So the first one is through education and awareness. It means to educate people about the value and importance of graphic design in everyday life. It will also help to uplift the graphic industry and simultaneously remove the negative stigma that was being shown to graphic designers. Aside from that, investors from all sorts of places could invest in graphic design. It helps in development in digital infrastructure that can support those fellow graphic designers. Lastly, through certification and accreditation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of my favorite points in slides, since it shows our appreciation and concern towards the graphic designers. It will also help to validate their skills and even establish standards for the graphic design industry.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, is graphic designer as the new career in the gig economy sector is a boon or bane? Well, it's a bane because of the four main conclude, which is first, its lack of recognition, where graphic designer often don't receive the recognition that they deserve. Other than that, with economical challenges, where high competition and freelancer work can result in low salaries. Thirdly, misconception. There are need for better education to dispel the misconception. And lastly, the advocacy that is required for fair conversation and greater awareness of their field importance.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a closure, our hopes towards graphic designing in this big symposium is that graphic designers will be uplifted and valued as much as other jobs that are being valued.
Like the wise man once said, without justice, nothing will be achieved.
Assalamualaikum and thank you.
Now, I would like to invite participants to ask questions.
Masih ada tanya. Alright. Thank you for your presentation. You told us that because of the existence of like Canva and other slide apps, the quality of graphic designer will decrease, right? So the thing here is, what are your response to my statement here is, don't you think because of the existence of Canva and other slides app, the quality of graphic designer will actually increase because now they have a platform, a better platform for them to throw out their art and produce better products in terms of artistic elements. So what are your response?
Thank you for the question. So to answer the question that you said that how about Canva actually decrease the quality of graphic designer. So actually we are not saying that Canva is decreased the graphic design quality, but because of the emergence of Canva actually affect graphic designer when society much more choose Canva. For example, Canva has templates, it's easier for them to access. But then what if all society have just been choosing Canva, what about the graphic designers? They won't be choose graphic designers to actually they won't be paid graphic designers, so that also it will be missed opportunities for these graphic designers, and at the same time a lack of like originality, since everyone has just been searching up for using templates rather than looking for a graphic designer. I hope that answers your question. Any other question from judges?
Right. Thank you for a great presentation. My question is simple. How can you create the awareness among the Malaysian society about the graphic designers, the risk of being a graphic designer? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, teacher, for the question. So, based on the question you say about how to increase the awareness amongst the society about the risk of being a graphic designer, or what's the cons of being a graphic designer, right? Okay, so how to increase the awareness is by Okay, let's say this. Our school has to make an event. So in order to make an event, you must make a poster or banner based on that program. So through this, we can increase the awareness amongst the students to appreciate and learn about graphic design, which is a very crucial part in today's society, in today's modern technology world. So in order to make them more aware of today's graphic designer, so we ensure society will make sure to learn and appreciate graphic design work to realize that graphic design is very crucial in today's society. Since without graphic design, we need graphic design in our life to uplift and to upgrade our country into a better development. I hope that answers your question, teacher. So, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, SMS Kepala Batas, for the presentation. Now, we will allow some 3 minutes for the judges to read the abstract for the next team and complete the adjudication. Oh yeah, so I guess I don't have a rest. Yeah. SMA Negeri 1 Purworejo. Purworejo, Indonesia. Now, let's hear from SMA Negeri 1 Purworejo, Indonesia. Apa sebenarnya Indonesia? No, I'm kidding. But actually, I'm blood. Yeah. Now, I would like to invite our last team, SMA Negeri 1 Purworejo, Indonesia, ST3, to present.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Imagine what will happen if the world had no money anymore. We spend our money in 24 hours a day. We spend it for eating, buying things, or even just going out. We requires money for the transportation. We sell something, buy something, or even just do a barter. This is called as economic system. Nowadays, there are many kinds of economic system in the world. The one of currently booming is about the gig economy. Have you ever heard about it? And how does it work? The honorable judges of FICS 2023, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dian Karila Sumbogo as a moderator of Team 4 from SMA Negeri 1 Purworejo. Let me introduce you to my team members. There are Aurela Fiona Lucretia, Amar Hairimi Yasar, and Hilmi Aska Bilkis. And our team is supervised by our teacher, Mr. Ahmad Faizin. Today, we would like to present and explain to you about our work with the title Implementation and Employment Regulation of Online Driver in Indonesia. So let's move to the explanation.
The world's weather system has undergone many developments. One that has taken shape recently is the gig economy. Flexibility, exploration, and new experience are what the gig economy offers. One of the jobs included in the gig economy is an online driver. Online driving is predicted to be one of the most advanced sectors because of the high public interest in the technology that facilitates human work. However, online driver has been going through several problems recently. What are they? Let's begin.
Now, we're gonna show you a video that we find.
Kamu tahu nggak, jadi driver ojol sekarang tuh makin berat. Ternyata nih, pendapatan driver ojol belakangan makin kecil. Nih dari data yang aku dapetin, pendapatan driver ojol sebelum tahun 2016 tuh bisa sampai 10 juta rupiah per bulan. Tapi makin kesini pendapatannya jauh berkurang, khususnya setelah pandemi 3 tahun lalu. Di tahun 2023 ini aja, driver ojol yang kerja 8-12 jam sehari cuma bisa ngasih pendapatan bersih sekitar 3,5 juta sebulan. Itu tuh udah di bawah UMR Jabodetabek, apalagi driver lain yang cuma jadi nini sampingan. Pendapatannya tuh nggak nyampe 3 juta sebulan. Serikat pekerja ojol tuh juga ngeluhin potongan dari perusahaan yang dinilai gede banget, sampai 20% buat setiap orderan. Harapan mereka potongan dari perusahaan cuma 10% aja, tapi masalahnya perusahaan juga butuh gitu ya pemasukan supaya bisa tetap bertahan. Kalau gini terus profesi ojol bisa makin dikit nih peminatnya.
Next, we're gonna show several data. The first one is the income of online drivers in Jakarta. Based on the diagram, we know that the income of online drivers in Jakarta is decreasing from time to time. The income from 2014 to 2018 has dropped 62.38%. The second one is data that based on our survey. Based on the data, we know that 43.8% of online travelers have an income below the statutory minimum wage in Central Java Province, which amounted to 1.9 million Indonesian rupiah.
To solve both of the problems, So from the video and several pieces of data that we showed, we found two problems. The first one is the deviations of profit sharing and the salary deduction. The decree of the Minister of Transportation of Indonesia, number 101 of 2022, stated that the deduction should be maxed at 20% from an order. But recently, it has gone up to more than 20%. Several articles show that the deduction is around 22 to 45% from an order. In addition, based on our survey that we did, we found that the deduction around our area, or Purworejo, is up to 30%. According to our research done by MOHAMAD, a PhD student at London School of Economics, 66% of online driver in the region of Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, and Bekasi are now more likely to switch to office workers because of some struggles. One of them is that the company's promises regarding the income from being an online driver do not match the reality.
The second one is there is no official rules protecting online drivers. Online drivers aren't employees, thus the labor law can be applied to online drivers. Things like insurance and social protecting that contained in the labor law can be applied to online drivers. Because of this, neoliberalism's exploitations practices appeared. Neoliberalism's exploitations is a condition which shareholders, companies, and consumers press hard on workers for greater profits. This means that the longer online drivers work, then the more bonuses they can get. However, working like this can cause problems such as the lack of time to do personal things and health issues.
So to solve both of the problems, we have concluded two suggestions. The first one is to provide points or incentives and put in order the salary deduction rules on online drivers. There are several conditions for awarding points or incentives, namely, 1. If during the service process there are problems or complication of situations such as traffic jams, harsh weather, inaccuracy of time, etc. 2. If the driver is able to get an alternative way to what consumers go to during an emergency. That way, if more than 50% of the driver feel that the additional bonuses are needed after experiencing travel obstacles, can make the applicator lowering or normalizing the deduction to remain in accordance with the decree of the Minister of Transportation of Indonesia number 101 of 2022.
The second one is advice aspiration for adding the labor regulation rules protecting online travelers. Advice of aspiration regarding addition for the labor rules and protecting of online travelers can be done through an event that is scheduled by the government tightly. For example, the Youth Parliament event held by the House of Representatives of the Republic of Indonesia. In conclusions, the existence of online travelers in our daily lives does bring benefits. However, the application system is harming online travel workers, and all the losses are due to the lack of labor rules that regulate and protect online travelers as gig economy offenders.
That's all that we can explain from us. Now, I'd like to invite the judges or the participants to ask a questions. Is there any questions?
Thank you, and thank you for your presentation. And well, I am Jung Nguyen from the Experimental School of Education and Science from Vietnam. Now, I have a question about your presentation. First of all, are there any organized solution against neoliberalism in companies in Indonesia yet? Are there any such organized solutions, such as unions between the online drivers? Are there other alternative ways of organizing the workers so that they can demand their rights and protections? Has there been any such solutions yet?
Jadi ada solusi lain yang lebih alternatif untuk foreign workers or untuk protect their rights. Jadi cara solusinya kan dua sih. They can also based on the second solution.
So, thank you for the question. Let me ask. So, currently there is no official rules that protect online drivers now. That's why, based on our second suggestion, we suggest that we advise aspiration for adding the regulation rules for protecting online drivers.
Organizations like companies to involve. So, have you like any provide some overview on how those rules should be enforced? For example, for regarding salary deduction, how would those rules be?
The as we said, the parliament we can do the essay debate.
So, as we said, in Indonesia, we have an event of the government actually that is called Youth Parliament, where students from 15 to 17 or more years old to a parliament debate an argument about something, which the result of that parliament will directly send to government, like that.
For my last question,
Right.
do you think that your initiative have been applied globally to other countries with a similar situation, such as in the Southeast Asia or like other countries. Do you think that your initiative on the measures for protecting our environment can be applied to other nations?
Of course, we can. So we can take an example from Singapore, where they already had an underlying regulation for the reduction and regulation for online travel. So if any Southeast country have an event, also an event scheduled by the government directly, of course, it's possible. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for the pleasure.
Thank you SMA Negeri 1 Purworejo, Indonesia for the presentation. Thank you for the stimulating presentation from all the schools. I would also like to extend my thanks to all the judges present for your time. We really appreciate it. Yeah, he really wants to ask questions.